Hey, my name's Asher Graham with Creative Collective Alliance out of Los Angeles, and I just wanted to do a quick, short video about a topic that came up for me as I was watching all the stuff going on with the Super Tuesday primaries. And it dawned on me that there's basically two concentrations of wealth and power in this country who are lining the pockets of these people running for office. And at this point, I mean, these people that are running for office, it's pretty obvious that they're just, there's no other way to say it than bought and paid for. And when I look at the Democratic Party, I see a concentration of wealth around things like credit card companies and savings and loan institutions and big government stuff, old time institutions. And when I look at the Republican Party, I see private equity, I see capitalists, I see private businessmen. Either way, people are definitely working behind the scenes here to get their person elected. And I would make the observation that on the Democratic side, it's kind of scary actually, because what happened this past week is that they elected a guy named Joe Biden, or so Joe Biden won like 9 out of the 14 primaries, and he came out of nowhere, and basically at the last minute these other candidates dropped out and they backed him. Well, if you look at this guy Joe Biden, I mean, my heart goes out to him. He's darn near 80 years old, and he's had some brain stuff. I mean, I believe he's had a couple of surgeries on his brain to have tumors removed. He's not all there. I mean, you look at him being interviewed and stuff, you could see the fear in his eyes. He's in over his head. He's trying to compensate by saying stories about doing push-ups or just masquerading and masking the blatant obvious fact. These aren't gaffes. This isn't like errors he's making. He's like a senile old man who's in over his head. I think he's very reluctant to even be in the position he's in, but it doesn't really matter what they do. It's like literally like I saw a meme somewhere. You remember that movie Weekend at Bernie's? It's like they're kind of propping up Joe Biden, and he's just like a yes man. He's the figurehead. Now, Trump's a different kind of a yes man, and this video is not about Trump. This video is just about the Democratic Party and the fact that these older institutions who are in dire need of updating, student loans, credit cards, government, all this stuff needs to be updated, and they're just so slow to move and so slow and resistance to get on with technology and to participate in their own evolution that they really drag the rest of us down with them, with their resistance to change and their need to hold on to the old order or the old oligarchy or the way things were, what's familiar. But here they are, these old dying institutions wheel out this guy who doesn't even know what state he's in. This is the best candidate they can find. This is the only candidate they can find that's going to be able to push their agendas through and keep their like crickety old dilapidated boat afloat for another 4 years until it's sunk by some, high-tech millennial submarine. It's kind of ridiculous when you think about it. I mean, if they could have just engineered some kind of a robot and AI to kind of look like an actual human and put him out there and make him seem like an actual human being who really is passionate about the things that these old institutions stand for, they would have done it. But they can't create an AI robot that would pass as an actual human being to get elected into office yet. So they have to roll out someone like Joe Biden to do it. And it's just a shame. And these people out in the world are like, well, I guess we'll just all get behind Joe Biden. It can't be that bad. Joe Biden, he's bought in. He's bought and paid for, you guys. I'm not saying Trump's the answer. I'm saying the whole thing needs to be reevaluated. Why should there be one president at the top of the food chain? What have we learned from the last 4 years? What I want to say about that is instead of having one, why not have 3 executive officers? Why not have 3 presidents? And they all have to work it out. They have to arrive at a consensus. They need to learn to cooperate and come up with agendas and laws that benefit the masses. And trust me, I'm not There's a great documentary out right now, and I recommend people get their hands on it. It's called Requiem for an American Dream, and it's a series of interviews done with Noam Chomsky over the past 4 years, where he outlines these basic principles, these tenets of capitalism and the so-called democracy that we are participating in here in the United States. And it's really eye-opening. And we're going back to the actual writing of the Constitution. Everything has always been created in such a manner to keep power in the hands of the wealthy, because the people that didn't have money were considered barbaric and animalistic, and didn't have the wherewithal or the mental capacity to even make decisions that were in the best that were in the decisions that were in the best interest of the collective society as a whole. And so here we are 200 and some odd years later, and we have, a system in dire need of updating. And rolling out Joe Biden as being some kind of savior for anything is just an insult to people like me. I'm like, what are you doing? You want me to go out and vote for Joe Biden? He doesn't even know what state he's in. Now, I get you don't want me to vote for Trump, but it's like, if I had to choose between a guy like Trump, who might be insensitive and sexist and whatever else he is, or a guy who literally deserves to be eating Jello in an old age home, I would feel more comfortable at least with the monster guy than the guy that's not even the guy. The other guy is pretty much, his cheese is completely slid off the cracker. He's not even capable of making decisions for himself, I don't think. Anyway, so I just wanted to share that with you. Leave some comments. Give me some feedback. Yo, what's going on?